Welcome to another episode of Metaphysical Moments. I'm your host, Sid Patrick. Today we're going to visit with Shelly Wilson, intuitive medium and conscious creator. Shelly visits us from Oklahoma, and she's having a wonderful time down here in New Orleans. As soon as we get back from our short commercial break, we're going to meet Shelly. Welcome back. Well, now let's meet Shelly. Hi, Shelly.
Hi, Sid.
So tell us, Shelly, a little bit about what you do. Let's start with that.
Well, I like to call myself an intuitive medium. And for those people that may not understand what an intuitive is, it's psychic. I just kind of have a hang up about the term psychic, even though it means of the soul. And so I prefer to call myself an intuitive. And I have psychic abilities. The mediumship aspect comes in, as you're familiar with. We're connecting with those that have passed. I also am a Reiki master, and I like to call myself a conscious creator. So I help people to consciously create the life they desire.
Great. So tell us a little bit about some of the things you have out there that they could look up or use to find out a little bit more about what you do.
Well, I definitely recommend that the viewers visit my website, ShellyRWilson.com. You got to make sure and put that R in there, otherwise you'll get not me. But I have written 3 books. I've written 28 Days to a New You, Connect to the You Within, and Journey into Consciousness. And each one of these books, I really feel that it embodies what I teach. And I love to really encourage people that they're creating the life that they desire based on the choices they make. So I love giving people those tools rather than just providing them with insight. You know, it's like that saying goes, you can teach a man to fish or give a man to fish. Give a man a fish, so I'd rather teach him how to fish.
Right. Great. So tell our audience just different ways or some of the different things that you've done in your career so that they can kind of follow your path.
Okay. Well, I was always a very sensitive child. I had some health issues, essential tremors, migraines, epilepsy, and such when I was young. And so I always knew things as well, but I was raised Baptist. My dad's a civil engineer, so those two words alone kind of recognize with people what my upbringing was like. And so I had a lot of opportunities I recognized where I could have woken up, spiritually speaking, but it was May 1st, 2008 when I did wake up. I had a reading scheduled with a woman that ended up becoming my Reiki master. And I have to say, Sid, what she said to me in that moment really moved me. And so I'll go ahead and share that. And what she said was, Shelly, I just have to say, your purpose is here to shine your light on others so that others can see the truth of who they really are. You're meant to heal hearts one by one by one. You see people differently than they see themselves, and that's how you make a difference. And with that reading, Sid, I began studying Reiki, and I really began developing those psychic abilities and then those mediumistic abilities as well.
Great. So how did you work with your development? Where did you study? What did you do? How did you create that environment for yourself?
I began with Usui Reiki and took Karuna Reiki, and then I studied with Lisa Williams, James Van Praagh, John Holland, which is where we met in May 2013, and Tony Stockwell, as well as Sonia Choquette. And those are what I consider my teachers, as well as the colleagues that I've studied with. But working with spirit, really trusting that information that's coming through. You know, my biggest challenge, obstacle was trusting the information, believing in myself, having the confidence to speak, to communicate, not only with spirit, but with those around me. And as I've stepped into that power and really allowed myself to shine my light, that solar plexus energy, I recognize that it's assisting others and they're waking up as well.
Cool. So I heard you use the word solar plexus energy.
Yes.
Explain a little bit about that to our audience so that they kind of understand the language.
Yes, well, we have in our physical body, we have an energetic body as well. So we have our aura, our auric field, which surrounds our body. It's also the biomagnetic field. When we look at it scientifically speaking, we have energy centers in our body, 7 main ones. We have other ones as well, but these are chakras. They're spinning wheels of light. So the first one is the root chakra or base chakra, and that's where those lower vibration energies reside. The second chakra is the sacral chakra, which is the area of sexuality and creativity. The third chakra, which I previously mentioned, is that solar plexus. So that's our power center, our gut instinct, our knowingness. The heart chakra is our fourth chakra, and that's in our heart area. That's where love resides. The throat chakra is communication. And the sixth chakra is our third eye awareness, and then the crown chakra is our connection to source. So these 7 main chakras are comprised of emotions, they are coordinated with organs, and so when we pay attention to issues we may have in our body, we can many times trace them to that energy center as well.
Yes, I wanted you to bring that up because watching you work, I know that you use those a lot in your work, and so I just wanted our captive audience to be able to relate when they're reading your materials and stuff. So that was great. Thank you. So tell us a little bit about some of the different venues that you do, types of things that you do. Like if someone wanted to come see you, what would they expect to see from Shelly?
Well, I'm smiling, obviously, as you asked me that, because I feel that the way that I work is unique to other mediums. I love to bring all of the tools in my tool belt. I love to bring in the healing aspect, working with the energy centers, the psychic abilities, and also the mediumistic abilities. So I love doing what I call messages from spirit, which is what I did here in New Orleans. And so working with that energy, I like to connect to the audience, feel their energy, knowing that the people that choose to come to these types of events have made a conscious choice. They're a collective energy, a divine appointment, as Sonia Choquette likes to say. And so I know that when I'm working, and I work as a vibrational healer as well, so through my words, the energy that I'm emitting, it can evoke change if people are receptive to it. And so I love offering messages to them. I love sharing my own real life experiences, because many times that's what people need to relate into their own life, and then provide insight and tools as well.
So, okay, and you teach courses, so tell us a little bit about your different courses that you teach.
Well, I am actually here in New Orleans. I'm going to be teaching 2. I teach several. I love to empower people. As a reader, I'm not a fortune teller, so I honor people's free will. And as I said before, I want to give people the tools to assist them to create the outcome they desire. So one course that I teach is called Mindfulness, Awareness, and Spirituality. So the more that we can focus our energy on being in the present moment, we are in the flow. And by doing that, we can consciously create. So I give people tools. It's an experiential type workshop that they can take that real application and apply it to real life. Another workshop I love teaching is Creating the Life You Desire. This was originally taught at Lilydale, New York in 2014. I revamped it when I taught it in 2015 there. And I'm delighted to teach it here in New Orleans as well. And this is giving people tools to recognize if they want change in their life. You first have to identify the areas you want to change so that you begin taking action with it.
I'm excited about that. I'm taking them today, actually.
Yes.
So tell us, okay, now I'm going to put you in a little spot here.
Okay.
So suppose I couldn't get to you and I wanted to take your class. Putting them online yet?
Well, actually, I do have Creating the Life You Desire online.
Right.
I'm working with other ideas. You know, it's all about being in that flow, that inspiration. So actually the 2 books I wrote, 28 Days to a New You and Connect to the You Within, originally started out as a daily OM course. 28 Days was Stop Existing and Start Living, and Connect to the You Within was Opening Your Heart to Love. And my guide said, Shelly, put them in book form, because some people don't want the obligation of a course, that commitment. So it still has the information. It's got questions to consider, exercises, things like that. I am in the process of allowing that inspiration to flow. So I'm just looking forward to seeing what other information comes through.
And for our listeners, we're going to place those books and how to get those books at the end of the show. So I wanted people to know that. So, okay, so tell us a little bit about how, like some of your future events, or where may people follow you to, or
Okay.
I know you have a radio show. Let's
Yes.
talk about that.
Yeah, okay. Well, to mention the events initially, I would love people just to visit my website, ShellyRWilson.com. Click on the events tab, and it is always updated. So it's always current with new events that I've added. I am happy to be going to Portland, Oregon very soon to New Renaissance Bookshop and to East West Bookshop in Seattle, Washington, and I'm going to be back in Lilydale, New York. It's a spiritualist community in August. So all of that information can be found there. Now, as far as working with other areas and really providing tips and tools, people can also listen to the radio show. So it's Incomparably Comparable with Shelly Wilson. It's on vividlife.me radio. And this show, I love it because it's all about reminding us that we're having this unique experience, but we are comparable. We're humans.
Correct.
So I love having guests. I love interacting with that, and all of those shows are archived, so you don't have to listen live. You could go to vividlife.me and listen, or you can visit my website and click on the vividlife.me tab as well.
Great. So Shelly, tell us a little bit about this trip you're going on at the end of the year, because it's pretty adventurous.
Well, I'm so glad you brought that up. I mentioned before about vividlife.me, and Shane Travis, the founder, has put together an amazing trip to South Africa. And this trip is a volunteerism trip, so it is compassion, connection, and courage. And when he originally brought it up, I came up with every excuse why I couldn't go. And he let me just be with that for a bit, and then he came back and he said, "Are you done resisting?" And I knew, okay, I really have to be there. So I have to say, Sid, it's a little daunting to me knowing some of the aspect of packing, of being gone for so long and that kind of thing, but I'm really looking forward to it because I know it's something outside of the norm for me, and that's when we're outside of our comfort zone. That's where change happens, transformation happens. So part of this trip, we're going to spend 2 days working with animals in the rehab facility, and 5 days we're going to be working with students in the school there. So I'm really, really excited, and even though I know it's in October and several months away, I have it in my awareness, but what I want to talk to the listeners about too, and I know you'll have some other questions, but focusing my energy in the now, everything in this present moment. So in this moment we're filming and it's been having this conscious conversation, but I'm so glad you asked me about that.
Great. So in closing, what kind of advice would you have for our viewers?
Well, I have a lot of advice, but in summation, I want people to remember that this is their journey into consciousness, that the more that they allow their spirit to speak, the more they connect to the power of their heart, the more that they know what they're passionate about, what makes their heart sing, that's where life happens. We can simply go about existing, and that's what I did for so long. I felt like I was just going through the motions, and life didn't seem very happy, very fulfilling. And then when I realized, well, change starts within me and I have to be the one that is happy. And once I do that, then life becomes amazing. And focusing my energy in the now versus living in the past, the coulda, woulda, shouldas, the what ifs, the might have beens, wishing I would have made a different choice, or in the future, constantly planning, my energy's in the now where I can create. And what I really love is knowing that there are no mistakes, that every experience that we've ever had is perfect, that even though we may have those moments of, oh, why did I do that? In reality, it was an opportunity to learn and to grow.
Perfect, perfect. Well, we're so glad to have you here in New Orleans. We plan to take you out to get some good seafood.
Thank you.
And we're going to have a good time today in your class. And so for now, we're going to say goodbye to our audience and watch the credits and learn a little bit more about Shelly. Namaste.